And that's all there's. Member Moore, members of the board. After 11 months ending February 29th, the consolidated operating income before capital contributions and non-operating expenses is $7.4 million. We're staying consistent with prior months. Operating revenues are continuing to perform 4% over budget and 10% over prior year and 14% over fiscal year 22. Regular line revenues are 12% over budget and 21% over prior year. This is consistent with the increased ridership and as a result, an increase of pass sales. Special line revenue is in line with budget and 4% over prior year. And advertising and other are 8% over budget and 10% over prior year. This is primarily due to our RTC parking revenue, as well as increases in our revenue share for our advertising contracts. Any questions on operating revenues? Operating expenses continue to trend like they have most of the year, 12% under budget, 4% over prior year, and 10% over fiscal year 22. All lines are performing under budget with exception to the purchase transportation, which continues to be consistent. Purchase transportation vendors are providing 83% of our air transit service currently. Any questions, or does anyone want me to go into further detail in regards to the expenses?
So fairly consistent for prior months, right, Melissa?
Yes. Non-operating revenues are 5% under budget, 1% over prior year, and 3% over fiscal year 22. Operating assistance is drawn based on needs, so as we're under budget in some of the expense lines, that's how that shakes out. Mortgage recording tax is currently trending $932,000 or 11% under budget and $1.4 million under prior year. And investment revenue is trending $1.1 million over budget and same with prior year. This is kind of last year around this time is when we first started investing in TiVo, so that's where you see that big fluctuation. Any questions in regards to non-operating revenues?
And the shorter the amount of the investment, the better rate.
Right now, yes. Our next statement is the mortgage recording tax statement. Right now, we are trending, or in February, we were $73,000 over last February, which is not typical for the month of February. You don't usually see an uptick. We are, again, still trending under budget and under prior year, and we're getting closer to how we were trending in fiscal year 2020. Any questions in regards to mortgage? Our investment report, our operating fund is currently $21 million. The increase from prior month is a result of us receiving our quarterly STOA payment of $12.4 million. Board designated reserves are $3.6 million with the interest rate between 2.12 and 3.5%. Our treasury bill investments total $17.2 million, with $5 million being operating funds and the remaining being board designated funds. Our current yields are over 5%. And a couple months ago, the longer duration was a better yield, and then the most recent investments, the shorter duration is around a 5% yield. And then our last statement is our statement of cash flow. At the end of February, we're approximately unrestricted cash of $21.8 million. 2.5 of those received in February was for operating and mortgage recording tax, and then approximately $13 million of the increased cash is still an 18B match. We did expend $8.6 million on daily operating costs and capital asset purchases. Any questions on the cash flow? So we still continue to have healthy cash. And that concludes the audited finance report.
We're gonna move into, let me see, we got a few. Want to do it budget now?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think I said it wrong, so that concludes the revenue expenditure.
So I need a
report.
motion here to accept that. Tony, second Monty, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, moving into the, we have a discussion now on the 24-25 operating budget based on what we know today with the state.
Correct. So since we brought the proposed budget in October, we've met with the staff again, we've relooked at things, and the final budget we are presenting is a net change of $1.6 million, which is a 2% change over the proposed budget. Again, to echo what Nick said, this is based on what we know today, in current trends, so this is just a summary right here. Our operating revenues increased by 2%. Regular line and special line revenues were adjusted by contractual increases and trends in passenger revenue. Operating assistance and other assistance was adjusted by 5.4% for STOA, which was released in the governor's proposed executive budget. So overall, we had a 2% increase in operating revenues and a 2% increase in operating assistance and other revenues.
What year was this still? Is that for?
So the STOA, is for next year. So in the proposed governor's budget, she put preliminary 5.4% increase for,
starting April first of this year. So April first of 24 will reflect that 5.4%. But they're still, and I didn't touch on it in my report, but they're still working out what that increase will actually be. Until the final budget's released, we won't know. But we assume it's not gonna get any lower than 5.4.
and in the event that there is an additional increase, we will bring, a revised version of the budget next month, providing that it's on time.
Go around it.
Yeah. So operating expenses increased also by 2%, with the largest portion being, $866,000 in salaries and wages, which is reflective in changes of, being fully staffed, considering any anticipated retirements, new hires, changes to the union contracts, and, other things like that. So salaries and wages, other employee benefits, health, workers' comp, and pension are all, assuming that we are fully staffed and fully operating as of April 1. So those are reflected there. And the other categories are based on current trends. Any questions?
This is a good way to budget. You look at, you budget kind of for possibly the most expenses if you're fully staffed. Knowing that we are having problems there with staffing, you can only work to the betterment at the end of the year.
This is our 3-year operating projections. This has been adjusted based on our updated budget numbers. You can see at the lower half of the screen, in the proposed budget, we were anticipating $8.1 million deficit in 26, 18.9 in 27, and $23 million deficit in 28. And then the line above it is our current projected losses. And the biggest change in the reason why we have less of a loss is the funding, the 5.4% funding in New York State, and the adjustment of the COVID relief funds. So we'll fully expend those in fiscal year 25-26 now. Any questions on projections?
You remember, this is information that we know now. taking just assumptions here to do projections.
So I'll need a motion to accept the operating.
Any questions on the operating budget for Melissa? If not,
You guys are going easy on me today.
Linda wish she was here.
It's Monday.
Everyone's saying, let's move our board meetings to Mondays.
It's not done yet.
I opened the can, right?
Yeah, I have a motion to accept Tina. Second Neil. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
The capital budget, there were no changes, to the capital budget. The reason why we still have to read this board is part of the final budget book. So here, so there's no changes here. If you guys have any questions, our biggest purchases, our biggest capital budget item is the fixture buses that we hopefully will be taking delivery of in the fall.
And explain the percentage of what state, what.
Yeah, so typically our grants are funded 80% federal, 10% state, and 10% local. We do, from time to time, have 100% state dedicated funds, and that's primarily how we're funding our buses. We have a large portion of that is the 80-10-10 split. So we do have that $3.9 million local share, but we do have some funds that are 100% state dedicated funds, so 100% funded by the state, and that's at a portion of the 19.6 million.
Remember, the life of a bus is about 12 years. 30 buses.
When we sell the buses, since you needed a question.
Yes.
When we sell the buses, because of lifespans, does that revenue go in here, or is that just general?
So it doesn't get technically returned to the capital fund. Generally speaking, they sell less than $5,000. So it would just go into miscellaneous or gain on PP&E revenue, and it just goes back into the general fund.
That we can spend any way we want?
So I can get a used bus for $5,000.
Yeah. Usually they're more like 20.
You're thinking
like,
Partridge Family.
Who
He's too
buys
young
them?
for that.
People
some
buy 'em.
other transit companies like South,
We've had some ship
Yeah.
shuttles, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
yeah.
To some of the islands down south.
But generally speaking, the 40-foot buses sell for a lot less money than the paratransit vehicles, and they're generally less than $3,000 a bus.
Think about 12 years of upstate New York
Yeah.
winters, you know.
The only question I have is I saw that we lock in diesel fuel prices, right? Do we do the same for natural gas?
Yes.
Right.
The only fueling source we cannot lock in is gasoline.
We've been successful too, so I don't want to talk about it too
Absolutely.
much. Okay,
And then I have one more slide. So, similar to the operating budget, we do have to bring forward a multi-year capital funding plan. And again, there is only one slight change to this plan, and we reduced the 25-26 by $70,000 for service vehicles, and that's because they were actually funded in a already existing grant. So at this time, I would make a motion for the capital.
motion for the capital budget, no other questions, Monty? Second, Robert, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. A lot of work went behind that, that's a good job from your team, as you guys briefed me on Friday. I came up for the meeting Friday, nobody was there.
Yeah. He was the only one here.
I like to get my, work ahead of time. Okay, so, let's talk a little bit about the paratransit reserve increase.
So we are requesting the board, authorize an increase of $1.7 million to our paratransit reserve, which will increase the full reserve value to $5 million. Currently, purchase transportation expenses are at $5.2 million, and total paratransit operations are at $9.4 million year to date. And as we've seen, month over month, that paratransit services is just being requested more and more. I think the demographics of the, area is changing and just more people need the service. So we want to be, properly, funded in future years in the event that, you know, we have some shortfalls.
And it's good that we're in a position that we have the monies that does not impact operating to increase the paratransit reserve, which makes that, more predictable and stabilized. And remember, as we have reserves with the authority, to ever get money back out of reserves, it's board action again, so, you know, it all has to come back to the table here. But I think it's good fiscal planning for an area that, seems to be increasing in the need.
And the funding for the paratransit service is nowhere near what it should be for the service and the cost of which we provide. I know, Tina, we've had conversations on that in the past. So, and I can say there's legislation being proposed on the state side, that right now is being piloted in Buffalo to extend the Call of Us paratransit area out to 3 miles, which is 4 times the current area in which we serve. So, we're having,
Devastating for us if it happens.
yeah. So the demand right now, you know, we're working through it and talking about it. I think Buffalo's doing the case study and getting back to Senator Kennedy, who's the proposing legislator on this bill. But if something like that passes, it's also going to require significant increase in funding to support that service. So we're trying to prepare for all fronts.
Okay.
It appears on that presentation that the money in the reserve account is earning money market interest rates.
We do have one that is still in a money market at 3.5, yes.
Okay, but have you looked into doing the short-term treasuries with that?
Yes, so we do have currently, 17, million in treasury bills. I think we had decided to keep one reserve fully intact in the event that we needed to utilize it.
Can I have a motion on paratransit? Tina. Second, Monty, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, let's move into resolutions.
Oh, one
We got
more.
one more that's not, it was a late addition,
Oh.
was the pension contribution.
Yes, I'm sorry.
So this came out in the mail, or in the email last week, but also we put it on the table in front.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, the funding of the pension. Melissa?
So we are requesting an additional pension contribution of $1 million. During the budget process, we, as the executive team, examined the authority's current ratio of each pension plan. We also take a look at the annual contributions and withdrawals. We consider the people that may retire or have retired, and then potential changes to the pension plans in the coming year. After all of that evaluation, we think it would be of the best interest of the authority to make this additional $1 million contribution, $300,000 going to the salaried pension plan and $700,000 going to the non-salaried pension plan.
So once again, we are in a position to do this, which is good. It's based on good information, proper planning. I think it's a good move to fund them at a certain rate without having an impact on the general operating monies that we seem to be in a safe place. Melissa will take any questions there. So it'll be 300 to the salary, 700 to the non-salary. Any questions? Motion. Robert, second. Neil, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving into resolutions. Tara, you'll speak to us about the 55311 operating assistance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I am looking for a resolution to approve a New York State Department of Transportation grant agreement, supplemental number 1, It is for 5311 operating funds, and it's in the amount of $1,676,463.
Any questions on, going after some money?
Can you get more?
Have a motion. Tina, second. Monty, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I will need to ask you if you can stay after the meeting to sign the resolution for us
Absolutely.
as well. Thank you.
Okay. Chris, you gonna talk to us about the combustible gas detection alarm system panel upgrade?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. This resolution is for the combustible gas detection and alarm system panel upgrade. This contract will be paid for using grant funds. The current Suprema panel, which monitors all gas detectors here at the Cortland Ave facility, has reached the end of its useful life, over 20 years old, and is required to be replaced. Pricing was received from Siemens Industry, the current New York State contract holder for the installation of intelligent facility and security systems and solutions in the amount of $247,030. Therefore, it is our recommendation that the board authorize a purchase order to Siemens Industry in the amount of $247,030 for the panel replacement.
Questions on the replacement?
Does this have the same lifespan as the previous?
Yes, it's pretty much a like-for-like replacement.
Questions? Okay, motion to award contract to Siemens for $247,000 odd. Tina, second. Tony? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Melissa, any other business at hand?
I just want to take the opportunity to introduce our new Director of Accounting, Derek Sherman, who's in the back row. If you want to just,
Okay, welcome.
and that would conclude my report.
Okay, we'll take 5 minutes before we get into the meeting. Okay, folks, welcome to today's board meeting here. And thank you for adjusting your schedules to make sure that we had a quorum, which was very important. That's why the meeting is today. Next meeting date is April 26th. But before we get going, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Brad's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next month, our board meeting, we have an audit and finance at 9. The board meeting will commence at 9:30. At this point, this is getting to be too much of a regular. We're seeing great people retire.
We have a change. We need pension, so there'll be a pension at 9, 8
Okay.
after 9:30.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry.
So, I want to talk a little bit about one of our great employees here that had a stellar career and will be retiring here. Darren Caruso joined the Central team back on August 22nd, 1994 as a part-time bus operation in the Syracuse facility. At the time Darren joined Central, policy didn't permit new operators to come on board in full-time positions. So Darren patiently waited for his opportunity, and in September of 97, it presented itself and Darren was offered and accepted a position as a full-time bus operator. Now think about how things have changed here right now. How different, I mean, he's waiting 3 years to get a full-time now. I mean, how different it is when you push it up. Throughout his career with Central, Darren continuously proved himself to be a driver that Central's operations department could rely on to show up to work, conduct himself in a professional manner, and provide excellent service to our customers. Even during recent years while making the 30-plus mile drive to Central from his home in Cato. For many of Darren's years of service, he drove Central buses on the Syracuse University campus, transporting SU students and faculty to their classes and to their jobs. As many of you know, the SU contract is an important contract for Central, and as drivers like Darren, they continue to make the contract successful. On February 1st of 24, following a 29-year career with Central, Darren made the decision to retire and park his bus for the final time. However, his retirement was short-lived. On March 4th, 24, Darren made the decision to come back to Central as a part-time retiree operator.
Couldn't stay away.
Thank you.
Full circle.
Thank you. A decision we are very happy about. Darren, we want to thank you for your many years of service and your professionalism. We are proud to have had and to continue to have you as a member of our operations team. Congratulations on your retirement. Thank you for everything you do. Enjoy retirement. It's nice that you can decide if you want to go to work or if you don't want to work. I'm a little jealous, but you know, this time just one time.
Quite an adjustment.
Congratulations. There's so much good stuff about you. Here we go, buddy. 1, 2, 3. Darren, any party words to?
It's just, a few months back, and I've been thinking about it probably the last 6-8 months, and it's hard when you've been had somewhere happier life, definitely different. It's been quite a career, but for all in all, I gotta say I've enjoyed it. Been a lot of changes over the years, some good, some not so good, but it's been a good experience all in all. And I'm proud to say that I was part of this team for as long as I am, and for however much longer I can go, I'll try to help as much as I can.
Yes, I appreciate that.
That's really all I can say. But I thank everybody. I thank Bob Sprague years ago he was on the board at the time, getting in here, because it was not easy getting in this place. And I was really fortunate to be out of 350 applicants, they picked 11 people, and I was one.
That's what I meant when things have changed.
You
You know where the other 339 are right now.
I can find them. Thank everybody for the opportunity, and like I say, I'll contribute as much as I can contribute from here on out, for as long as I can drive.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Derek.
Enjoy your day, everyone.
You too.
Thank you, Derek.
Meredith, you want to buy?
Well, thank you, though.
I would.
Okay, thank you very much.
We've been doing that too often, too frequently, it seems like this past year.
I'm saying, I would love the part-time. Work when you want.
Well, I think it was.
It was fun.
I
remember.
Tony had a glimpse of that.
Yeah. I'll teach a class once a week. Beautiful.
I'll hire you. Okay, a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes for February 23rd. Julius, second. Neil, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the board. Quick overview of my report. I won't get into details on everything. I'll highlight some of the big ones in respect to your time. As Melissa mentioned, with the COVID funds, last month we didn't draw anything down from the federal COVID funds. We did receive some state COVID funds that we've been waiting on. So you'll see no drawdown in February. The One House bill specifically, some highlights that Melissa mentioned. So the One House bill from the Assembly proposed a 7.2% still increase for the fiscal year 23-24, above what we got last year. And then the Senate proposed a 15% still increase, with also making a $1 fee on all TNCs, which are Uber and Lyfts. So that'd be a statewide charge that would end up in the general fund to fund transit upstate New York. So we'll see how those play out. Both houses increased their capital funding at a minimum of $20 million, which was short from last year on the Assembly side, and the Senate added $44 million. So $20 million of each goes to a project down in Buffalo, but the excess on the Senate side does open up for the rest of the state. So we're hopeful to see how that goes. We're budgeting on the 5.4% from the executive budget, but hopefully we see an increase above the 5.4 as the next couple weeks come together for an April 1st budget. Other meetings we've had throughout the month, Steve Cagle and I met with the mayor of Auburn, the new mayor, Gianna Tino, to discuss some transit in Auburn and some ideas, but also they're looking for some assistance with the National Park Association, given some of the historical landmarks that are in the city of Auburn, from the Seward House, the Harriet Tubman House, the Harriet Tubman burial site. So they're looking for some future projects down the road, not until probably 26, 27, but they're wondering if we're able to provide some transportation to help connect those areas for visitors to the area. We did meet with Senator Gillibrand's staff here in Syracuse to give an update on transportation, current levels, and things we're dealing with here in the transportation world. And then we're going to continue that conversation in April when we're down in Washington, D.C. At the beginning of April, with the chairman, Bren, and Melissa and I will be down there to meet with all four of our elected officials during that time. And then, as we talked about the BRT last month, we gave a presentation on the changes to the proposed Smart One study from 2018. Steve, Brad, and I have met with several stakeholders already, and we're continuing to market that roadshow across the city. So we have some upcoming meetings with Center State CEO, the County Executive's Office, and continuing. We met with the Landmark Theater to understand their needs or what they were looking at as far as our service traveling down Salina Street. We did launch Move, and Steve will highlight that, which is our on-demand service in Rome. In the customer service tentative agreement, Jackie will come to the table and present, so I won't get into the details on that. But any questions on my reports?
You know, it's nice to hear, about a potential increase, because if you remember, some months ago, the state was looking at over $9 billion deficit. So things changed, some of the revenues, so it's, you can see that we're talking about an increase in that. I was worried at one time just holding the line, so, it seems to be some, good news for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the project involved?
Their light rail system, so their light rail
They
is
do that?
in significant need. They do have the surface transportation light rail, it's in significant need of repair. So the last, I wanna say this will be 3 years in a row that they've received a $20 million each. Do you know offhand or no?
Right, honestly.
I wanna say this will be the third year now that they'll have dedicated $20 million to put forth to their rail upgrade. Very expensive service to operate. I think, Joe, you guys had some rail in Cleveland. So it's, they're upgrading their services, their terminals, their stations, things like that. So I think somewhere I heard it, I don't know if it's changed, it's about $1 million a mile to maintain. So they continue to ask for that, and Senator Kennedy out of Buffalo is the chair of Senate Transportation, so I'm sure there's some out there. But any other questions? With that, I'll call Jackie up to the table to talk about our CSR tentative agreement.
Morning, everyone. So as stated last month, I informed you that we reached a tentative agreement with the customer service union contract. It was voted in by the membership by 100%. And I just want to provide you a little bit of the details for that contract. Most importantly, what we ended up doing is we increased the customer service wages to $19.60 an hour, which became more in line with the outside industries in order to attract more people. That was a $1.70 increase to where it used to be. We also gave them a 3% increase for next year and a 2.5% increase for the year after. The other thing that we really looked at doing is bringing them more in line with our operator and maintenance contract. Their benefits weren't the same as our bigger contract throughout the company, so we ended up adding longevity to their contract after 10 years. We gave them a sick time after an extra day after 5, and then another extra day after 10. We also added 2 floating holidays, one which recognized Juneteenth in their contract, and we matched their pension from 5% to 6%. So these were all negotiated with the idea, obviously, of helping to attract and retain more employees throughout the organization. This overall increased about 6.5% over the next 3 years is what it resulted in. All I need is a motion to approve that by the board.
Frank, do you have any, want to make any comments?
I would like to thank Jackie and her negotiation team. I think it went great, quick, came to an agreement quickly. The customer service employees definitely deserve this increase. It's well deserved, bringing their wages and benefits up to prevailing, like you said, around the area. So I think it's well deserved, and it's a nice increase, and I think it's a good contract.
I think, with the 100% ratification, I can't remember, I've been around organized labor my whole life, I don't remember ever 100%.
Well, it's a small department.
Both
So,
people say
I'd like to see 100% too.
Okay, that's good. Anyway, that's great. A motion to approve. Tina, second. Tony, any decision, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Very good. Good. Excellent.
One other matter I would just like to bring to the attention of the board. Over this past 6 months, obviously Frank and I and his team have been negotiating the larger contract for our operators and our maintenance staff. We're very pleased to announce that we do have a tentative agreement for that contract. It will be voted on this upcoming month by the membership, and if it does pass, I will be here next month presenting that to the board. So.
Great, good, that's good news. Labor peace is always good no matter what organization you're at. Yeah, firm believer of that. Thank you, Jackie.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Frank, for all your work and everything. Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys. And then I'd like to bring up Steve to just talk about our launch of Move, our on-demand service that we launched in March, just to give you an update.
Thanks, Chris. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the board.
I didn't know if you.
I'm going right here. No. Just to give you guys a quick update on ridership. Ridership is up 14% last month over the previous year. We continue to grow. It's all good news. We expect probably some increases to continue over the first quarter of our fiscal year this year, and then probably you're going to see some flattening out after that. And I think that at that point we'll have saturated ridership to about where I think it's going to kind of flatten out and settle. Having said that, as Chris mentioned, we launched our first microtransit service in Rome on March 4th. I will say that it was a fairly quick process. Via the company that provides the software was fantastic to deal with. They've launched this service in more than 150 different transit agencies. They are veterans of it, and they came in like a well-oiled machine, and they were very great to work with. I'd also like to thank, there are so many people who are involved in the launch of this project, from the maintenance department to the ATU and procurement, and the whole process of getting the contract and getting this set to go. It just touched a lot of people within this organization, and there's a lot of people who put a lot of hard work in a very short period of time to get this up and running. But I do want to thank Brent Dice, who oversaw this project, and was very detail oriented, came up with a plan. We met weekly to get this running, and there were a lot of tasks. There were about 100 tasks that we had to check off over the course of 3 months, and it went very smoothly. In VIA's world, this was a long lead time, 3 months. They said they can get this up and running in 2 days. We never want to get it up and running in 2 days, but it went very, very well. On March 4th, we had a press event. The State Department Transportation, several of the elected officials in Oneida County, the county executive office was represented. The governor's office was there. The mayor of Rome. It was a really nice kickoff to the event. It went very smoothly. It's a little adjustment for bus operators to kind of do something differently, but they were on board from the get-go, and it went very well. The dispatchers at the center, we were all out there. We were fully staffed that first day to make sure everything went well, and it's gone very, very well. I'm going to let Brian give you some of the details and numbers, but I will say we have more than 25 reviews of the service on our app. And at last check, last week, every one of them were a 5-star review. I hope that's still the case. Okay. So it's one of those things where the users that use it love it. And we understand that there was changes that were made to the service that brought this service along, and we had to make some reductions on our fixed route service. But we've expanded the size and the scope of the users, which is really important. We have many unique users that we probably did not have before, but we don't have what we call a tag and release program from the previous, but now we have people's individual information to a degree, so we know how many individual users there are. And that's nice to see that we brought more people to using public transportation. We've expanded the scope of whom we serve, which is our mission, and I'm very proud that it's working well right now. So with that, I'll turn it over to Brad with the details.
Morning. So to give you a little bit more details, we don't have a full month of the Move service, so we'll get into more specific ridership figures next month. But we have 3 solid weeks of ridership. So in those first 3 weeks, we've seen over 550 completed rides. That is awesome. We've met demand 93% of the time. That means every time people are booking, 93% of the time, people are looking for a ride, they can find it. And most of the rides that were not able to be met were either hours that we weren't open or on Sunday, which we're also not open. So we've seen that Thursdays are our highest day for some reason. And the majority of our rides are on demand. So, they've got the option to pre-book or to do an on-demand ride. And we've got more folks using the on-demand feature than the pre-booking feature. It's close. It's like 55% to 45%. 5%. But definitely people are using that on-demand feature and are liking it. Before move, in the routes that we removed from Rome's service, we had about 30 to 35 unique riders on those routes. Now that we have moved, we have 83 unique riders, and again, that's 3 weeks in. That's pretty impressive for a brand new service, and that certainly shows us that more people are using our service now than they were a month ago, which is our goal. We did have a move outreach event last week at Liberty Gardens, so we've started this little road show so that we can go out and reach out to senior centers and apartment complexes, folks who have asked us, we're gonna go to MVCC, folks who have asked us to come out and folks who we've asked them to come out and talk to them, show them how the app works, show them how the service works, and just make sure that everybody understands the system as we're rolling it out. So we had that first event last week, and it was a good event. It we were able to answer questions, we were able to literally show the app and show it being downloaded onto a new device, so teaching people how to use it and to download it and how easy it is. So it was a great meeting there at Liberty Gardens. And as Steve was talking about, we've got great feedback. That is, I think, the best part so far. The drivers have said they like it. It's good. They are comfortable with the system, and that is amazing. The call takers love the ease of the system. Awesome. We have 33 now reviews of the service, and all of those are 5-star. We do not have any reviews that are not 5-star. And our highest feedback is great driver. So again, everybody's loving it. You can see that the drivers are enjoying it because they are doing a great job and passing that along to our customer. Our other feedback is that we've got clean vehicles, comfy ride, friendly staff, and a quick trip. So all the way around, it's going really, really well. So I'm gonna pull up a couple photos for you. Let's see if how this works for me. Wait, I want to show photos first. These are my photos. Here we are, rolling out the first day of service. This is the first time at 6 a.m. that these buses have gone out into service. Casey Brown took some awesome photos for us. And just wanted to show you a couple of photos of the day. We even had a little bit of blue sky. See it up there in the top right-hand corner?
Photoshop those great things.
That was not Photoshop. Here was our press release, and that's the Commissioner of Transportation for the county. The mayor was also present, Rome's mayor, and then of course Chris and some Centro staff. Here we are standing on the bus. It's a good session. And then the bus, I just think these buses look really, really awesome. They are distinct. They just look really different, and I think we can see that people are looking around and saying, "Hey, that's new. What's that?" I think that was my last photo. Oh, here's the video. Okay. Wait. Where's my sound? Can you hear it? Because I can hear it on my computer, and that's not where I want it to be.
If you click the other player.
This one. Let's try this one. Ooh, this one's more promising. Oh my God.
Sorry. There's a speaker to the left, I'll wait to the left.
It's okay, I don't want to hear my voice anymore.
All right. Well,
Steve, why don't you just narrate that?
It's okay.
It's right here to go.
try it. It's not doing it. Not doing it. So we'll go back into this guy, and we may. Steve can
I can
perhaps
narrate.
narrate.
Got a drone video in there.
Those were our first customers of the service.
Nations provides flexible schedules,
All right, we got a little
short
bit.
wait times and rides. It connects to Centro's transit system at the Centro Transit Hub downtown and operates Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So let's get started to move. Download the Central Move mobile app for free from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Then launch the app and set up your account by entering your name, phone number, address, and ride preferences. To book a ride, launch the app. Confirm your current location, then select your destination. The app will plan your trip for you and let you know where and when to meet your ride. Once the ride is confirmed, you'll be able to track your vehicle in real time using the app. Move trips can be scheduled up to 48 hours in advance. And if you'd rather have us book a ride for you, just give us a call at 315-356-MOVE. The Move fare is just $4, or just $1 if you're traveling to the Central Transit Hub. You can pay for your ride using the Move app with a credit card or debit card, or with cash when you board the vehicle. For more information, visit www.centro.org/move. So what are you waiting for? Let's move.
Yeah, we find that our questions
Good job.
really relate to the video. Casey and Lynette did a lot of work on that video. It's great to be able to produce those videos in-house, not have to hire somebody else out. With the technology that's available, it's fairly easy, and our customers really relate to videos. It's easier than giving them a brochure to kind of figure things out. Everything else is easy.
Good job.
Lots of questions on Move?
I will say I downloaded the app while Brian was giving us the overview, signed up, and was able to start fiddling around it. It's incredibly easy to use.
Yeah, the software is really intuitive. We made a great choice when we did that. And then we're gonna let this simmer for a few months. Take a look at how it's operating, and then we'll evaluate it for expansion.
Super, great work.
Thank you, guys. Mr. Chair.
And I like how you rolled everything out. We had the public hearing that we attended to see. I thought that was all nice on every stage building up to it, because you're changing the way they're doing things, and change is difficult. But I think the team did it well.
And the outreach that we did in September, I thought was critical, and I was making some important service-related decisions that we may not have known about had we not reached out to the public and gotten their feedback on how to serve their specific community. So it's really important.
Great job.
And that concludes my report.
Okay. Audit and finance was all discussed in detail today. So we started out with Melissa went over our February 24 financial statements. Motion was made to bring it to the full board. Very continuous on the health of the authority, financial health. With that being said, motion made to bring it to the full board. May I have a motion? Tony, second Tina. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. We also went over an operating budget based on the news that we have today, based on the Assembly, the Senate, the Governor, etc. And where we are in time right now is how we establish it. If things do change a lot, we might have to bring back an amended budget to the board. Sometimes we need to do that, so that everybody know that. So with that being said, a motion was made to bring it to the full board for approval. May I have a motion, please? Okay, Julius, second, Neil. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Also, with the operating, we also did our capital budget next year. There will be a big purchase of our buses, and everything was reflected in our capital plan here. The life of the larger buses are usually around 12 years. Everything looks to be good, so we have nice new safe buses for our venue in all 4 counties. Motion was made to bring the full board to adopt the capital budget. May I have a motion, please? Tony, second Neil. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. We also made a decision to fund more the salary and non-salary pension plans. We were in a fiscal position to do it based on our our strong financial position. We'll have an additional contribution to the non-salary folks of $700,000, $300,000 to the salary, for a total of $1 million. Motion was made to bring it to the full board to approve that $1 million going into both of those plans. May I have a motion? Robert, second. Julius, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Yes, thank you. Also, we wanted to increase the paratransit reserve. This is something where we see a growing need, and we wanted to make sure that this was properly funded in the future based on what we're seeing now with an uptick of services to make sure we take care of our folks. A motion was made to increase the paratransit reserve in the amount of, Melissa?
1.7 million.
1.7 million. May I have a motion? Tina? Second? Monty? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Also, we're gonna get into, we have two resolutions. The first one was, Tara with, the 5311 operating assistance grant. I've been around this place so long, I can bark out these numbers now without even looking at things. So, when motion was made to bring it to the full board, I have a motion. Julia, second. Tina, any, discussion? All in favor? Aye. And also, Chris brought in a combustible gas detention and alarm system panel upgrade. It had its 1 year of life, the life is now gone, and we want to do a award contract to Siemens, just south of, I think, 250,000. May I have a motion? Neil, second. Tony, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any old business? Future business? At this point, I need a motion to go into, executive session to discuss.
To seek advice of counsel regarding potential litigation.
Seek advice of counsel for potential litigation. May I have a motion? Robert, second. Tina, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I want to thank everybody for coming today. Appreciate it. Thank you. Jackie's gonna stay on board. from executive session. No action was taken in executive session. At this point, I'm gonna ask for a motion for a 3% increased cost of living adjustment for the non-bargaining unit members. May I have a motion? Monty. Second, Tina. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you and have a great weekend.